One of my favorite stories to talk about is the Zsa Zsa Gabor trial. Now, there was never a more fun story that I covered than the Zsa Zsa trial. To recap, what happened back in 1989, she got stopped for a traffic stop by a Beverly Hills cop by the name of Paul Kramer. What happened was she got upset or something. Nobody really knows what happened at that time, but she ended up slapping the cop. And of course, he arrested her. You can't assault a cop. I mean, in Beverly Hills, she was in her white Bentley and everything, or Rolls. I guess she had a Rolls Royce at the time. And so they took her to jail, and she made a big stink about it. And she wanted to file assault charges. And she found a couple of willing lawyers, and there was a couple of them because the first one ended up dropping her, and the second one came on and admitted to us in news conferences that the reason he took the case was to build his own career. It was a high-profile case. The world's media, literally the world's media from every corner of the world, descended on Beverly Hills at the Beverly Hills courthouse to cover this trial. Why? It was Zsa Zsa. That was the only reason. It was crazy. It was insane. It was total insanity, but it was fun. And every day there were updates on the evening news, and we covered it every day. And I was the reporter assigned to cover the Zsa Zsa trial. And she would say outrageous things. And then in the middle, her lawyer would try to stop her, or sometimes not, just to gain the attention. And she would always say something like, well, let me say one more thing. And I'll play a little clip of that for you here.
No, I called him darling. I said, darling, why'd you do that to me? You're so handsome. And he kept on saying, he was out, he was really hysterical. I was, honey, when a man has a gun in his pocket and I'm in hell, will I curse him? Nobody's that stupid. I curse him when he's in bed with me, but I don't curse him when he has a gun on him and I'm in handcuffs.
Was there a reason for him to be so angry?
I don't know. He must have had a bad night with his girlfriend or boyfriend. I don't know.
But the funniest thing, the key to the whole, in the end, she was convicted. She lost her case, but she was convicted. She had to spend 72 hours in jail. She had to do a couple of hundred hours, I guess, of community service. And also she had to pay a $13,000 fine. And whether she paid it or somebody paid it for her, who knows? But the bottom line was one of the funniest moments we ever had. Now, this is a woman who really, she was known for being a celebrity. She had some movies. She was an actress. Her family did acting. Her sister, Ava Gabor, also did some acting. You may remember from Green Acres. So that was her big show with Eddie Albert. But Zsa Zsa was known to be this sex symbol who really wasn't much of an actress as much as she was a celebrity. She was a personality, and everybody loved having her on their talk shows and everything because she was just so crazy. She was just so outrageous. One day during the trial, they brought her in through a different entrance, and they brought her in and through the second floor. They brought her in through the second floor elevator of the Beverly Hills courthouse. And I was there early along with Michael Ambrosini. Now, Michael Ambrosini was a reporter for KNX News Radio, which later I also went to work for KNX. And so when we knew each other, and we decided, we looked at each other and just went up the stairwell and got there before she got off the elevator. And we waited there. And basically, it was just me and him, her attorney, and Zsa Zsa. And Zsa Zsa's walking off the elevator. And I forget who asked the first question, and really the only question. But basically, we wanted her to say what the cop said to her that set her off, that made her slap it. And this was her answer. I'll play the audio tape for you here. And it was, and I've added beep tones. So it was just, once you hear it, you'll understand why this is such a classic moment and such a Zsa Zsa moment. Here it is.
The policeman had a gun in his pocket. He's 6'4" and 5'4". He said to me, "F off, get the f out, get the fucking paramedics. I hope you get a fucking heart attack." I don't talk like that. If I have any intelligence, a mother of a 30-year-old daughter, my daughter and I, we were raised in Switzerland. We don't talk like that. And I don't insult a man with a gun in his pocket because I don't want to shot. Because I said it's self-defense and shoot me. What do I do then? I'm not that stupid.
Now, every time I hear that, I have to laugh because just because it's so outrageous. But anyway, so this was the type of thing, and we weren't really egging her on. A lot of the reporters who were there from around the world would egg her on just to get her to say some crazy stuff, and she would do it. She literally would. She would say, "My attorney doesn't want me to talk, but I just want to say one more thing," and she would go off on this tangent. But it was definitely the most fun I've ever had covering a story. And I remember when the trial ended, the bulletin came down. We didn't really have cell phones at the time, not like today. And I had to go door to door finding someone who would let me use their phone so I could call in this audio report, a radio report, to our desk in Washington. And I remember knocking on 3 or 4 doors for someone finally in a big house in Beverly Hills let me in to use their phone. And I got the file and I thanked him and went on, and then went back and put the pieces together, and it was over. It was all over. But it was definitely the most fun story I've ever had to cover. We'll have more of this kind of stories and some of the other stories too throughout my life on the radio. And I hope you enjoy these stories, and we'll see you next time.